Hey friend, welcome back to the show. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about all those unfinished songs that may or may not be piling up and scattered throughout places in your mind and your computer and your phone notes and your journals and scraps of paper and bits of recordings here and there. I know it's not just me. And I've recently had a perspective shift around this. So I'm here today to share that with you. So my mission for this episode is really just to encourage you and give you some perspective on the creative process and why it's okay that some of your ideas have gone idle or dormant. So it's time to stop beating yourself up and instead embrace your beautiful, wild, creative mind. Welcome to Reawaken Your Voice. I'm Lainey Prendeville Crawford, holistic voice coach, singer, song weaver. I believe the song in your heart holds medicine for yourself and for the world. And yet too often, something happens along the way. We shut down our voice and our song goes unsung. Whether you stopped singing years ago or have always harbored an unrealized dream to start, if you're ready to finally give voice to those unsung songs in your heart, then take my hand as I guide you to free yourself from the inner critic, reignite your creativity, find your courage, sing with confidence, and reawaken those dormant parts of yourself aching for a revival. So dust off your songbooks, tune up your guitar, bust out your singing bowls, your shakers, your drum. Actually, all you really need is your voice, your breath, open ears, and an open heart. Let's play. So I've been in the process of sifting through scraps and gathering ideas for my recording project. And I'm choosing a handful of songs to bring to the next phase of development. I mean, I have notebooks and journals and scraps of paper, voice memos on my phone, like raw recordings on my computer and buried files on old computers. Like, it's a lot. And I've found some gems that I'm working with and a handful of songs that I'm playing with to see if they lead to anything or want to be developed further. And I also found a lot of stuff that's just kind of bland and uninteresting. Ideas that just kind of fall flat now. Like my ear isn't taken anywhere beyond what's already there. And yet what's already there is incomplete, if that makes sense. And so I found myself mourning all the songs that could have been, but may never be. And then my inner critic piped up, telling me what a failure I was for having so many unfinished songs. And so I did what I often do when I hear that inner critic chime in. And I took it to the page. I took these thoughts swimming around and gave them a place to land, to kind of sort through them and find the truth. Writing for me is digging for truth. It's sorting through all the noise to get to the truth, which can be uncomfortable, but very healing. So I started off thinking, well, what good is the fruit if it's never eaten? What good are these songs if they're never finished, never enjoyed, never shared? But as I wrote, I thought about the fruit that rots. And I realized that decay is also a necessary part of the creative process. And when I finally realized this, I gave myself permission to let go. Permission to let go of these song bits and pieces. And you know what that did? It allowed me the space to focus on the ones that felt alive. The ones that were really calling to me. And it gave me an acceptance of the ones that may forever remain unfinished. So let's free up some space on your canvas and on your internal hard drive today, shall we? So I'd actually like to share with you the writing through which the perspective shift emerged. I believe it will be helpful for you to not only look at and, consider this perspective, but also to see the process of journaling and how it can lead us deeper into connection with our heart and our inner truth. So here it is. So many pieces of unfinished songs scattered about. Will they ever bear fruit? What makes it fruit? A fully developed idea ripe for the picking? Chosen at just the right time to pull from the vine? Completed, recorded, released? Released because the fruit must be eaten, savored, enjoyed. What's the point if it just rots away, fallen to the ground, lost in the waiting? Waiting for the right time, and then I missed it. I don't want to miss it. Miss my chance. Miss my opportunity to create something meaningful, to create something good, juicy, delicious. Perhaps some of the old stuff has already decayed, past its prime. But there is more. Propagation, regeneration, another round on the cusp of harvest. Some are more ripe than others, some further along. But one at a time, their time will come. Perhaps some pruning is in order. Pruning and letting go. And we'll see what remains. But unused ideas are not lost. Like ripe fruit that goes unpicked, uneaten, and falls to the ground. It enriches the soil with nutrients that will nourish the plant into the next season so that new fruit may grow. And perhaps there will even be some seeds that become new plants altogether. This is what comes to mind when I think about all the unfinished songs, all the pieces of songs scattered throughout notebooks and paper scraps and buried and forgotten computer files on old laptops collecting dust in the closet. It's all part of the creative process. Decay is part of the circle of life. It's okay to let go of the old. In fact, it's necessary in order to begin again. Maybe a whisper of that idea will infuse another many years down the road. And maybe it won't. Maybe it was just to keep the juices flowing, to move some energy, to get into the flow. And maybe it was just a piece of debris that got swept up in the flow, once part of something beautiful. Or it could be again if it found its way into the right hands. And maybe mine are not the right hands. Another artist further downriver will find it and make something beautiful out of it. And then there are others that wash ashore and land at my feet as if they have chosen me. And if I don't do anything with it, no one will. Unless, of course, I pick it up and intentionally throw it back, like a message in a bottle. But who wouldn't want to look inside and see what it holds? Who knows the journey it has traveled to arrive here in this moment at my feet? Some ideas feel like they've been hand-picked and delivered directly into my hands by divine serendipity. A special delivery from above. So there it is. So what about you? Have you ever seemingly received a song from the ethers? Like it just flowed into your ear out of thin air? Have you ever worked and reworked an idea over many years? Toiled over it, poured your blood, sweat, and tears into it. And then it finally emerges as a polished gem. Or maybe you ended up scrapping it all together. I've done both. As my husband has said, I've seen you write a song in 30 minutes, and I've seen you write a song over 13 years. This is the reality of the creative process. You don't have to make it wrong or make it mean something about you as an artist or as a person. Lean into your process and realize that songs come through in different ways. Maybe you used a melody and disposed of the lyrics. Some of these flow in from beginning to end with ease. Like it's just so smooth. You're like, where did that come from? That was amazing. That felt so good. And then some really take work to uncover, to unearth, to excavate, to follow that thread and tie it into a bow. But all of it is helpful in refining your craft. spending time immersing yourself in the creative process always has value. Even if that particular piece never gets to the end or the finish line. Maybe it ends abruptly, like the inspiration just leaves you and you're on to the next thing. It's all welcomed and okay and normal. If you produce quantity, you will eventually get to quality. Even if it's only 1 in 100. Keep creating. Keep following your ideas to see where they may lead you, even if it's somewhere unexpected. Even if it's a dead end, there is still value in the process of creating itself. So what you may see as a lack of follow-through on your part or an inability to bring all your ideas to completion is really just part of the creative process in motion. My prayer for this episode is that it will help you extend yourself a little grace and give yourself permission to let go. To let go of the old and create space for the new. Whether that leads to nutrient-rich soil for a future harvest, or the juiciest piece of mouth-watering fruit to nourish your body, mind, and spirit in the here and now. Hey friend, thank you so much for listening. If this episode unlocked something in you or moved you in some way, I'd be so grateful if you'd leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're streaming this. And share this episode with a friend who's been praying for a vocal breakthrough. Until we meet again, keep nurturing that song in your heart. Lots of love.